Canada has finally decided to announce further changes in the visitor's visa that will be issued to persons visiting Canada in the future. Is this the final bus stop for Canada immigration changes? Because in the past month, Canada has been announcing multiple changes in study permits, the open and closed work permit, and permanent residency level plans. Canada has now finally decided to put the spotlight on visitors visa as well. And in today's video, we'll be looking at all the changes that has been announced, and we'll talk about them in details. So please be sure to watch the video to the end. If you're seeing my face for the first time, my name is Efe, a Nigerian resident in Canada. My channel focuses on teaching tips and tricks on how to pass the IELTS exam, as well as giving updates on Canada immigration. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more important updates. Visitors visa for Canada, also known as the multiple entry visa, allows travelers to enter Canada multiple times during the visa's validity period. This visa is valid for up to 10 years or until the expiration of either the travel document or the biometrics, whichever one comes first. This visa is issued by IRCC, which is the immigration authority in Canada. The visitor's visa can either be for multiple entry or single entry. So if it is a multiple entry visa, people can visit Canada as many times as they want. But if it's a single entry visa, then people get to enter only once and it is cancelled at the airport. Now, what is the change? What is the new update? The usual validity of the multiple entry visa used to be 10 years, or whenever your passport expires or your biometrics, whichever one comes first. But now with this change, which has been announced starting from November 6, 2024, where IRCC has announced that guidance has been updated to include that multiple entry visas issued to maximum validity are no longer considered to be the standard document. Officers may exercise their judgment in deciding whether to issue a single or a multiple entry visa, and also determining the validity period. Now, there are a lot of multiple overheads here, but overall, this changes is going to be divided into two parts. One, they need to assess the application to determine whether they're going to issue a single entry or a multiple entry. It's no more automatic. And secondly, they need to also determine the validity of the overall visa. If you have a 10-year passport, it will no longer be automatically 10 years visa. They'll determine how long it will stay valid. Overall, processing is now becoming stricter because IRCC says that the officers will be required to look at the purpose of visit with a broader lens of coverage, which means whether the person is applying to come to Canada for a one-time event, like a wedding, a conference, or they're coming to visit family and friends. Now, before we go into details, what is the reason behind this change? Well, the IRCC has announced that this shift is essential as a comprehensive strategy designed to effectively manage temporary immigration levels, tackle housing shortages, and combat the escalating cost of living. Consequently, frequent visitors to Canada may encounter high application fees and shorter visa durations. This change will directly impact those who often travel for work or leisure, highlighting the importance of adapting to these new regulations for smoother travel experiences. So now, what factors will the officers be considering before issuing the visas? We know that the visa officers will now exercise their judgment in deciding whether to issue a single or a multi-entry visa. So factors to consider are: one, purpose of visit. The officers want to look at whether the person is trying to come to Canada frequently or not. From your application, your purpose of visit to know if you can't come in for a one-time event like a conference, a training section, or they may be returning to Canada regularly, such as to visit close family members. Did the applicant require parental authorization to travel for each visit? For example, those who are minors under 18 who are coming for a summer program, still under purpose of visit, to consider each visit is for compassionate purposes, such as to care for a family member who is critically ill or dying. Next to be considered is financial consideration. The visa will also need to consider funds provided by the applicant as part of the application. Does the applicant have a stable ongoing source of income, such as source of funds, such as an employment or a business that will be sufficient to finance multiple visits to Canada? If the host, which could be a family or a friend in Canada, will be covering the applicant's expenses, is there a proof of relationship between the applicant and the host? And also, is the host well established in Canada? As the host invited other people, do they have sufficient resources to provide for all the invited individuals for multiple visits? And for those coming for business meeting or a one-time conference, with the funds provided by the employer, and as this employer submitted documents or a letter stating this fact, all of these should be looked at by the visa officer to determine if to issue a single or a multiple entry visa. Next to be looked at is health issues. The visa evaluation process also look at health issues or medicals, as the applicant indicated any health conditions that may worsen over time. Is the applicant coming for medical treatment? As the applicant provided a mitigation plan like health insurance, and if yes, for how long is it valid for? This and all will be what the IRCC officers will be looking at in your visitor's visa application. The next thing to be considered is home ties. Additionally, IRCC will assess stronger ties to home countries, such as family obligations or employment situations. The validity of the applications will also depend on whether applicants are coming for short-term or long-term visits, and repeat visits versus one-time events. Officers will now consider political conditions in applicants' home country when issuing visas. This is a significant change from previous practices. Another thing to be considered by the visa officers will be travel history. Officers will now check to see if the applicants has complied with terms when visiting foreign countries. Have they returned home within the time limit? Have they experienced previous visa refusals? All of these will be looked into. So, having seen the things to be considered, all in all, these changes are not looking so pleasant from the applicant's perspective. But from the Canadian immigration viewpoint, aiming to limit temporary resident populations, this appears to be a very strategic approach. Whether this approach will yield a positive or negative outcomes remain uncertain, but this is the current information available regarding IRCC policies moving forward. So if you're planning to visit Canada or to put in a Canada visa application, visit visa application, understanding these changes can help in preparing your application more effectively. Remember that transparency about your travel plans, financial stability, and ties to your home country are key in securing the right type of visa for your needs. So I hope today's video was helpful and provided you some insight into what's happening in Canadian immigration. And if you wish to apply for a visitor's visa anytime soon, my next video is for you, because there we are planning step by step the process to submit a visitor's visa application. So thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe and share this video to anyone you think to be beneficial to. Looking forward to having you join me in Canada.